we're underway in this first game. Both players lefties. Both live in Texas. Aaron, you live in Texas.
Another commonality.
Are the three of you friends? I don't know. These two guys are good friends from what I understand.
Well, Mike and I go way, way back to when Mike was, well, he's still little, but when he was younger. I've known Mike for 20 years and seen him come up through the juniors, and he's a tremendous player. I just don't think he's got enough to offer Kane.
Right out of the gate there, Kane starts off the match with an ace.
Yeah, the other thing about Kane is, which I think separates him from Sudsy in a way, he plays hard and focused every match. He never lets up, never loses concentration.
Short serve, 7. 0, serving 1.
0 serves 1 here. Mike Guidry looking to get a point on the board here. Nice shot.
Great angle there. And we'll just have to see. I'm not sure what Mike needs to do to attack Kane, so I'll kind of reserve comment until the match evolves a little bit to see if there's anything where there might be just a little bit of crack in the armor.
Kane lines up to hit another drive serve. Unbelievable. Great shot. Right corner.
Great shot. That was an opportunity for Mike because Kane did not hit a very good serve, and Mike didn't do much with that forehand. But that's one of the things when you're playing against a great player, you really feel you need to do more than against normal players.
Kane, if you look at him, you watch him, he's just playing on such a high level. He floats around the court, seems to be in the right place at the right time and hitting the right shots.
I think that's a good summary, Sean, of why he's the #1 player right now.
Oh, nice effort by Guidry. Still great shots by Kane.
And the thing about Mike's game, he's a very steady player. Hangs in there, gets to a lot of balls. He doesn't have anything spectacular. There's probably players that aren't as steady, haven't accomplished as much as Mike, that have a few more weapons that might be able to bring a little more force to bear on Kane. I think where Mike, this is a bad matchup for him at this point, is I don't see him having the weapons to even put pressure on Kane if Kane was inclined to crack a little bit.
0, serving 2.
Guidry looks like he's in phenomenal shape, though.
He's in great shape, and that's always been Mike's forte. He's in great shape, very, very quick, and very, very consistent. Can ill afford to miss opportunities like that.
I like the way Guidry goes into matches because regardless of who he's playing, it doesn't matter if it's Kane or it doesn't matter who it is, he goes in there with that attitude. He doesn't care who you are. He's ready to play ball.
No, he plays very hard every match. Good shot there by Mike. Good passing shot. It's the longer it goes without Kane running away with it, the better chance there is. It's 0-2. The better chance there is that Mike starts to believe a little bit and may work his way into the match.
Guidry yet to get on the board here. Kane up on him 2-0. And finally, a point scored here from a mistake, a rare mistake from Kane Wazelincha.
And Mike will take it.
Right. 1 serves 2. Nice shot by Kane. We're going to take a little break here, but coming back, the best racquetball player in the world here in this 4th quarterfinal match here at the Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championship. And we're back. Kane Wazelincha 2-1 in this first game. What do you say here?
Yeah, not a whole lot. They're kind of feeling each other out right now. Nobody's really established any pattern yet. We'll see. That's a pretty weak return by Mike. And a great pass by Kane. Very smart shot. The thing that, one of the things Kane does so well, he's got a lot of talent, but he plays very, very smart, very under control, and that's really helped him avoid any upsets. All the great players, particularly in their younger years, had bad days. Kane has had very, very few bad days.
Angle on that serve.
That's an unbelievable get by Kane.
That's good stuff. Phenomenal rally.
That is an unbelievable get because Mike hit a very tough shot, a 3-wall shot that died up front.
Off a great serve. That serve is just tough to get your racket on. That's a great shot by Guidry, and turns into a great rally. 4-1 now, Kane Wazelinchuk. Trying to make a statement early here in this first game.
A rare miss there by Kane.
1 serving
Kane
4.
known for those quick hands. 1 serves 4.
You know, and Kane, when he came up, even before he started winning, he was afforded immediate respect by the tour veterans. Everybody said that he was a
Called
unique
a skip
talent.
on that.
Give me a break.
Oh, it's a bad call.
2 serving 4.
He missed that one.
Wow.
But every point is precious to Mike, so he
Welcome
will
back,
take
Garner.
it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
2 serves 4. Guidry just ready to go. I like it. And why would he give it to him? You know, this is pro racquetball. I mean, can you think of another pro sport where you're going to give up a point? I mean, it's there's that fine line that we've talked about in racquetball many times.
That's the age-old question, whether it's cheating if you don't give up a call when the referee misses it. Many people use golf as the example, where they very frequently turn themselves in, cost them a stroke if they know they violated a policy or one of the rules of golf. So there are examples of professional sports. There's just not many.
Right. Professional basketball, when the ball goes out of bounds, you see one player pointing one way, or 5 players pointing one way, and the other 5 players pointing the other way.
And occasionally in tennis, you'll see a player overturn a call, but very, very rare.
That's it right there.
Where I fall on it, Sean, is we want the competitors competing. We don't want them thinking about the ref. We don't want them overruling the ref. We just want to let them play and let the referees make the call. Almost always the bad calls average out in the long run.
Right. Most of the time, the ref's impartial, and it does even out. 6-2 here, Kane Wazelinchuk.
So far, pretty much according to form, Mike has not been able to generate any offense.
See Kane anticipating that right side.
Now, in fairness to Mike,
That's true.
other than a couple of players right now, Kane has not had many competitive matches this season.
I didn't think you were going to hit it back.
He's won 7 of the last 8 tournaments.
You're going to hit it back at yourself. Oh.
He had, I think it was last year, Aaron, he had an inner ear problem that kind of plagued him. Other than that, he's just been a dominant force with virtually no glitches in his game or his career up to this point.
No, the only match he lost this year, he forfeited about halfway through because of an injury. So he hasn't lost a match that he's completed this whole season. Well, here we are singing Kane's praises, and Mike has quietly snuck his way back in here, down 4-6.
Nice shot.
Check it.
6 serving 4.
6-4, Kane Wazelinchuk. Sure enough, probably going to stick with the heat. He's going to come at Guidry very aggressively. And he does.
Good serve.
Skip ball. Missing a few shots there.
Yeah, Mike's hanging around,
Yeah.
putting the ball back in play, smiling a little bit, kind of making it look like it's all for fun. And who knows, maybe he's trying to
Well, we'll
sneak up on him and stick a dagger in his heart.
That's it. Well, we'll see who's having fun here when we get right back here. It's the quarterfinals here. The U.S. Open Racquetball Championships brought to you by the Tennis Channel. And we're back here. This quarterfinal match here, Mike Guidry serving to Kane Wazelinchuk, the world champion. Mike heard a little noise in the crowd there and stopped. It's a nice lob serve.
Yeah, forces Kane to go to the ceiling.
Wow. Oh. It's a good effort by Kane.
Yeah, and you know, Mike is hanging around still, sneaking up on him. Down 5-6, smiling a lot. I
that,
think
like, no
making
problem.
Kane as comfortable and as unintense as possible. I think what Mike is doing is very smart. He knows he can't beat Kane stroke for stroke.
Great shot.
So he's going to have to beat him in this kind of a match, kind of a sloppy match, a lot of joking around, very deferential to Kane's greatness, maybe lulling Kane into a false sense of security.
As Kane said earlier in his interview, as he spoke to us, Kane spoke to us earlier and said that they're very good friends. They play quite a bit in Texas. So undoubtedly a lot of respect going on in there. The words that are being spoken here in this match as we see them chopping it up to each other are probably different than last week's match between Derek Robinson and Jack Cusack. I'm thinking the verbiage might be a smidge different, huh?
Yeah, no love lost last week.
Unbelievable hands.
I don't know about you, Sean. I think I'd rather watch two guys look like they want to rumble than two guys who look like they'd like to go out for a beer together. I think it's more fun.
I'm with you. Yeah.
This is a little too friendly for me.
Yeah. Eight serves 5. Guidry hitting some good shots, though, staying in this match. It's certainly not a blowout like some would have expected, but... Good shot. 8 serves 5. Kane Wazelinchuk. Kane has literally beat every good player, every great player.
You know, I really think he was instrumental in Sudsy's retirement. I think Sudsy knew he would have to come back at a level higher than he was before his injuries, and I think the prospect of having to overcome Kane was instrumental in his decision.
9 serving 5.
Don't stop.
And on the other side of that coin, Kane gives a lot of respect to the game and has said many times that it's an honor for him to be categorized in that same class as the names like Sudsy Monchek and Cliff Swain.
No, and that doesn't surprise me. He's got a great combination of intensely competitive, yet very, very courteous, and as you say, very respectful of the sport and its history.
It's a great shot. 9 serves 5. Kane just 2 points away here from shutting out this first game here against Mike Guidry. It's a skip ball that was called a side out. Kane lets him know. Mike gives it to him with no question. Kane acknowledging that Mike gave him that call. Crowd does too, and they give him some love for that. That's good sportsmanship, regardless if it was a bad call or not.
Either that, or Mike didn't hear the referee make the call. I think if he had heard the referee make the call, he would have started walking to the service box.
That's true. That very well could be true.
Game point here for Kane.
And that's it. Game 1 goes to Kane Wazelinchuk. Started to get tight there, but sure enough, it ended up being a kind of a quick match.
Yeah, nothing.
First game.
Nothing interesting about that first game. Went pretty much according to plan. We'll see if Mike can get some intensity in this second game.
And we'll see when we get right back here. All right, and we're back. Game 2 here. Kane Wazelinchuk takes game 1 from Mike Guidry, but now he's serving. 0 serve 0. See if Guidry can put something together here against this world champion. An interesting fact, Aaron, about this U.S. Open. A lot of champions, obviously 9 years that this has been going on, and still no back-to-back wins.
That is an interesting fact. Well, I think there's a very good chance that Kane is going to retire that statistic this year.
I spoke about Sudsy Montrich, definitely one of the greatest players of all time. Him and Cliff Swain, both champions now.
1-0.
The crazy thing was that Sudsy Montrich would win the U.S. Open in even years. He won in 96, 98, 2000, and 02. This would be a winning year for him. However, retired due to that injury to his foot.
Yeah, and Sudsy, who I have enormous respect for and saw him come up from his first tournament, would have been very, very hard-pressed to win this tournament. Kane, one, is playing at a great level, and Jack Huzak, Rocky Carlson, Cliff Swain is playing great, his old nemesis, so I think it really would have been an uphill battle for Sudsy to win this tournament this year.
With a hard serve there, but still up enough to where Mike should have shot it and at least made a...
You know, Mike just does not look right now like he mentally believes he's got a chance here. This is really shaping up to be a mismatch.
3-0, Kane off to a lead.
In a way, even though Mike is a far more experienced player, in a way this match is shaping up to be a bigger mismatch than when Kyle Vistra played Rocky, which was quite a mismatch in itself. So certainly not one of the more competitive quarterfinals we're watching here. Maybe we're writing Mike off a little bit earlier, but after losing the first 11-5, being down 4-0, and really not showing any signs of coming back.
Kane up 4-0, but still pumping himself up and wanting to hit the shots and definitely play a precise game of racquetball. Kane serving 4-0.
You know, in Kane's matchup in the semifinals, which we'll see in a couple of weeks against Rocky, should actually be a very interesting matchup because Rocky has the firepower and has the ability to put a little bit more pressure on Kane than Mike is right now.
When we get back, more action here at the U.S. Open. The 2004 Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championship. And we're back here. Kane Wasylinchuk dominating this game, 5-0. Won the first game with, Kane fashion. So, I mean, is there any chance that Mike Guidry could get into this?
I certainly don't see any chance. But, you know, the one thing about racquetball is that there is no time clock, so we won't write Mike off yet.
Certainly would be fun to see a battle here. Or I'd at least like to see the score get tight, somebody put some pressure on Kane.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mike just play with a little bit more energy, a little bit more zeal. You know,
and shots like that kind of make you disappointed.
Well, it's a little demoralizing, but you got to hang in there. You know, Mike dropped his shoulders after that shot. He's being a little too deferential to the champ.
I agree. 5-0.
You know, you got to get in there. You know, like an example, and I don't know that it's fair to Mike to use this comparison, but last week with Derek, he was a little bit outgunned by Jack, but rather than just rolling over or taking his medicine, he came out with a very aggressive game plan, got physical with Jack, created a lot of tension on the court. Now, that's not Mike's style, so he couldn't do that. Plus, at 5'7", 160 pounds, it wouldn't have the same impact as Derek. But trying something just to disrupt Kane rather than just going out there and accepting what he seems to think is his fate.
Kane is hitting extremely flat right now. Just putting on a clinic out here. 7 serves 0.
And, you know, this is really a terrible position for Mike to be in. I mean, he's a 14-year tour veteran, finished as high as number 3, been in the top 10. And to be on the court and not even competitive has to be very discouraging.
It's a great pass. All right, Mike, let's get on the board here. It's 0-7.
0, serving 7.
At least, I'd like to see Mike get down, hit a couple of drive serves, maybe leave his feet a few times, do something to force him into the match, just see if he can get Kane a little bit off guard. There's a better serve.
There he is.
There you go. Hit a drive serve, move
Crowd
your
supports
feet.
him. Did a good shot.
Right there.
Although Kane seems rather impenetrable to the pressure, all of the pressure here is on him. There's not a person in this audience who believes that Mike is going to win this match. Unfortunately, I think Mike's included in that category.
As we can tell by the way he spoke to us, he knew. I mean, it's pretty evident he's coming into here knowing who he's dealing with. Nice kick. Oh, nice extension.
It's a great effort by Mike Guidry. We're going to take a little break here and take a look at St. Jude's Children's Hospital. U.S. Open supports them every year. Let's take a look.
And we're back. Kane Wazelinchuk again dominating 8-1. I'd like to see a good match here. I've said it a couple times, but we'll just sit here and wait it out and watch the inevitable, I guess.
Maybe we can catch up on emails.
Good ball. 9 serves 1.
9.
And this happens. It's happened with every dominant number one that they get such a mental edge on anybody but the top 2 or 3 players that they wind up not having many competitive matches until the semis or finals.
Good shot by Guidry.
One, serving 9.
1 serves 9. Guidry lining up. Gonna bring some heat to Kane. He's got a setup. Puts it down. Achieves another point there, Aaron. It's a good shot.
Yeah, and once again, a little bit more zest in that point. Drive serve, got out of the box, active feet, stayed aggressive. He needs to continue to stay aggressive, take his shots, take his swings, and see what happens. You might land a knockout blow.
Oh, wow. It's a great rally.
Good
Guidry
shot
playing
there by
very
Mike.
aggressive right now, these last 2 points.
Working his way in, 9-3. We shouldn't get overly hopeful, but at least Mike is showing some energy. Who knows, maybe he'll start off the 3rd game a little bit better, and we'll see a competitive match for a while.
Kane gets his
Mike
serve
had
back.
an opportunity there.
Yes, Dad.
He had hit a good serve, forced a weak return from Kane, had a relatively easy backhand up front, and just didn't do much with it.
9, serving 3.
9 serves 3. What does Wazelinchuk mean? And have you ever heard of anybody named Wazelinchuk?
No, but he's from Saskatoon, Canada, and I don't think I've met many people from Saskatoon, Canada.
Well, that explains it. You say Wazelinchuk, I say bless you. Oh, avoidable hinder call. Nice.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Kane not happy, and I think it's a great call.
Yeah, it's actually a good call. He was dived, he was on the floor. Clearly that was an offensive opportunity. But I think this speaks to Kane's intensity. Here we are in the 2nd game. It's an absolute massacre, 11-5, 10-3, and Kane is still getting upset at the ref's calls. Mike's got to be thinking,
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Right.
Have you no mercy?
Yeah, exactly. You can see it in his face. He's still upset about the call. That is funny, Aaron. I don't know that he has any mercy. I think he just wants to. I think he's an assassin.
I agree. I think he is the Terminator of racquetball right now, seeking out perfection each time he plays.
Get that ball.
That was a helpful crack there to Mike, and you know what? Very trying to play Kane. You need to either hit a spectacular shot or get a lucky crack like Mike got that time.
There it is. Kane with another opportunity to close this second game out. 10 serves 3.
And that's another example of an opportunity that Mike would have likely capitalized on if he was playing somebody other than Kane.
Kane lines up here for serve. He needs 1 point to finish this and go up 2 games to 0. And Guidry hanging in there, making some good shots. Good return of serve. 3 serves 10.
Another opportunity there for Mike.
Just kind of effortless mistake there by Guidry.
A match like this for Mike would be a nice segue onto the Legends Tour.
Ten serves 3. And Kane finishes him off in fashion. Wazelinchuk fashion, pumping his fist. Extremely fired up for a guy who is beating by such a large margin.
Yeah, no, his intensity is impressive. A bit sadistic, but impressive.
Right. We'll be back and see what this vicious competitor has in store for this legend, Mike Guidry, when we return on the Tennis Channel. And we're back, both players on the court. Took a short break here between game 2 and game 3. Kane Wazelinchuk dominating so far, as we expected, Aaron. Kane just playing a very good ball and very intense. He's not going to give up. He's not going to play light. As you can see here, he's not giving any chance to Mike Guidry.
No, very one-sided so far, maybe even a little more one-sided than we suspected. Other than for a fraction in that first game, there really haven't been many competitive moments.
Sometimes you see great players go against mismatched type of situations, and you see him sort of playing easy and taking it easy. What I love to see here is Kane playing very intense, trying 100% on every ball, pumping his fist. In my opinion, that is giving respect to Mike Guidry.
I agree 100%, and not only that, it will serve him well because it's amazing how matches like this were on paper. They look like they're going to be a mismatch. If you don't get focused and you don't take with the same intensity that you would any other match, how quickly they become competitive. And players play much differently when they believe they can win. The one thing that I'm impressed about Kane is I think he's aware of the mental edge he has on the other players, and he continues to drill it in and try and dominate them so they step on the court beaten. And, you know, once again, to go back to the last great dominant player, I think Sudsy failed to do that. If Sudsy had a weakness, he would let up and not play with the same intensity every match.
It's a good comparison. Sudsy Montrick had a run there where nobody could touch him.
No, he was very dominant, you know, in his own right, as dominant as Kane, but he still had a lot of matches where he wasn't as focused, would go to 4 or 5 games, and occasionally lose just because he didn't have that razor-sharp intensity every time. He'd get bored, quite frankly, by his own admission.
Up until just a couple years ago, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong here, but wasn't it 11 straight years that there were only 2 number ones? I mean, Cliff and Sudsy traded off the number 1 ranking for 11 straight years until Jason Menino broke that.
There's no question that when you look at racquetball history and eras, there was definitely a Hogan-Yellen era where they dominated and were 1 or 2 trading off for the number 1 spot, and there was clearly a Cliff Sudsy era where you indicate for the 11 years they traded off the number 1 spot. Now, many people 2 years ago predicted that the next era was going to be the Kane-Huzak era, but right now it looks like it's going to be a one-party era. It's just going to be the Kane era.
3-0.
Well, Kane showing he's a champion here. 3-0 in this match, leading the series 2-0.
Great get by Kane.
Wow, great
Boy.
shot by Mike Guidry.
That was a great shot.
It's a good rally. Keep in mind, folks, you're watching the U.S. Open. You can always stay tuned here on the Tennis Channel, as all of these shows will be broadcast on the Tennis Channel.
I think what's a little depressing about winning that rally for Mike is he had to hit 3 great shots to win the rally, and he didn't even get a point for it. He just got the serve back.
Great shot by Kane Wazelinchuk.
3-0.
He just plays. Not only does he have a lot of spectacular aspects to his game, he's very fundamentally sound. His racket prep, his strokes, his footwork. He's really got the entire package.
3-0.
4-0,
Now
I think.
4-0.
4-0.
And Mike looks like he's hoping that somebody will throw in a white towel for him.
Between the legs.
You know, and I do feel for him, Sean, because unfortunately part of my career overlapped with the absolute height of Cliff's career, and I seem to recall having matches against Cliff where you were really hoping that the door would open up and invite you off the court.
Yeah, that's a hopeless, hopeless feeling. Played a few years myself on tour, and same age as Sudsy. Grew up with Sudsy. My first junior racquetball tournament, I played a match against Sudsy Monchek, and I said, what kind of name is that? I'm going to smash this kid. Then I learned about racquetball. I learned quick.
And there's a good shot by Mike. Well, Sean, maybe that's why we're both sitting here today and we're not out on the court.
It's probably best for the two of us. Skip ball. Mike Guidry scores a point. Come on now, Mikey. I want to see some action here.
The crowd is bracing themselves for a comeback.
With shots like that from Kane, it's going to be very difficult. 4-1. Serving 1. Kane
5-1.
still hitting great shots and playing his game. Looked to me like Kane was experimenting with different shots. Obviously had the right shot open. He could have hit it, but he was you know, kind of practicing. It looked like it was like target practice.
You know, he seemed to lose a little bit of focus at that point.
1-5.
Mike looks a little tired.
Yeah, I think you're right. He calls a timeout. 5-1. We're going to take a timeout ourselves. Good stuff here in this quarterfinal match. Kane Wazelinchuk and Mike Guidry. We'll be right back here at this 2004 Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championship. And we're back. 1 serving 5. Mike Guidry serving 2. Kane Wazelinchuk. Trying to find a way back into this match. I don't know that he's never been to this match, but I'd like to see a battle here. But Kane
hitting shots, running Guidry around the court, basically dominating so far.
Yeah, no, this is, by all accounts, this match and that match between Rocky and Kyle Wiestra were two of the biggest mismatches I've ever seen in quarterfinals and pro matches.
Nice get.
Oh my God.
Look at this. Get that. Wow. He called it 2 bounces. Kane won't be happy.
I think that was a good call.
How do you know? How do you know from here? That's incredible.
Well, it looked like 2 bounces. Come on, give Mike a point. I mean, he dove and hit a great shot.
If that's what you're basing it off of, then yeah. No chance.
You're adopting this Kane mentality of crush, crush, crush. Let Mike have his moment in the sun.
I'm kind of digging Kane's vicious mentality right now.
That's pretty impressive. You don't see it, guys, assume it's good.
5-1.
There you go.
2 serving 5.
2 serves 5. Wow. Not too many players in the game, Aaron, can hit that shot.
And not too many players can be up 11-5, 11-3, and 5-2 and fist pump after hitting it. I mean, his intensity, seriously, is very impressive. The fact that in a match like this, which to just about everybody watching is an absolute mismatch, for him to maintain his focus and his intensity is very impressive. And that's a bad call.
Why though? I'm sorry? Okay. So it either should have been a no call or an avoidable. Because that was obviously a setup, because I killed the next ball pretty easily.
To Mike's defense, he's got a good point here. What he's saying is the referee called a hinder, and he called it a little too soon because they were close. And Mike's point is it should either be a no call, let me take my shot, or if you're going to call a hinder, it should be an avoidable because it clearly took away an offensive opportunity. A persuasive argument for Mike, but to no avail.
But absolutely no chance it should have been called a safety hinder or a hinder at all, and that it should have been an avoidable or no call.
Yeah, and there's no such thing as a safety hinder in the pros.
We saw that last week with Derek Robinson and Jack Huzak.
That's right.
Oh, come on. Look at these muscles. I hit that hard.
Now a wet ball.
Well, that gives us an opportunity to talk about a rather obscure rule. If the ball hits a wet spot on the floor and causes the ball to slide, on the serve, it's a play over. If it hits a wet spot during the rally, it's just bad luck for the player. You don't play it over.
Kane up 6-2 in Game 3, leading the series 2-0. All he needs is 5 points to finish this off and go into the semifinals.
Which should be an exciting match. The semifinals should all be great matches. I'm really looking forward to that Huzak-Swain match. Cliff looked great. Huzak looked a little bit subpar, but I'm sure he'll bring up his intensity and bring up his aggression against Cliff. He's going to have to.
Yeah, Kane or Cliff playing great racquetball.
That's an unbelievable shot.
Some have said that Kane, being a lefty and his style of play, looks like the young Cliff Swain. Would you say that's true? You knew Cliff when he was.
Yeah, Kane is way more advanced in a lot of ways than Cliff was. Cliff was a phenomenal physical talent, incredibly intense. So on those two, in that way, I can compare them. But Kane's game is way more evolved. He plays smarter. He's got better control of his emotions than Cliff had as a young player, and his front court game is far superior to Cliff. So Cliff was a great player and really took the racquetball world by storm in his own right when he came up. But Kane is clearly the most advanced player at the same age, you know, certainly in the last 20 years. If you took Sudsy, if you took Cliff, if you took Jason Ellis, clearly he's way ahead of all of them at 23.
The Cliff, I guess, has earned his props and his respect from the longevity, winning tournaments for 20 years.
Well, it's phenomenal. His props are well deserved. I mean, I'm looking at him out there last couple of weeks ago, and he looks unbelievable. He's taking great care of himself. He's playing with the same intensity. 5-6 years ago, he really looked like he was starting to lose it, and his game was starting to fall off a little bit. So Cliff deserves all of the props, and I think what Cliff has done the last several years has really put an exclamation point on the argument that he's the greatest of all time, because clearly he's played at a higher level than Hogan, Yellen, Sudsy later into his life than all of those players did.
Kane skips that one. Mike regains the serve here. 2 serving 7.
You know, I remember when Sudsy came up and he overtook Cliff relatively quickly. People thought that was going to be the end of Cliff. Well, who would have thought when that happened that Sudsy would have retired before Cliff did?
Good pass. Good pass.
That was the first rally I've seen where Kane actually lost his concentration, lost his intensity, and really looked like he was clowning around a little bit.
Between his legs.
Maybe it's a sign of him being human.
Could be. Could be.
What was that?
I'm sure that
And then to
Vicious
quash,
Monster will be right back out here in
and then to quash that sign, he hits a perfect reverse pinch with his backhand.
7 serves 3. Kane Wazelinchuk.
Unbelievable. Great get. Exciting racquetball by Kane Wazelinchuk, and he shows right there just why he's the #1 player in the world. We'll be right back.
And we're back here. Kane Wazelinchuk still leading here in this game. 8 serves 3.
Good shot by Mike.
Well, Kane definitely left that up. 3 serves 8.
Oh my gosh.
That's painful for Mike Guidry.
Yeah, no, Mike needs to get to that shot. That was kind of a sloppy attempt by Kane.
That was slow.
By Mike.
Well, even Kane's shot was pretty sloppy. It's set up in center court.
Right.
Certainly beneath his par.
Great shot. That's a great shot by Kane.
Yeah, you know, I feel bad for Mike. It is a terrible feeling to be on the court and to be that helpless where you just don't have any weapons. It's like showing up to a gunfight with a pocket knife.
9 serves 3. Unbelievable. Well, here we have it. Kane Wazelinchuk in position to take this quarterfinal match, push himself into the semis. Kane serving 10-3. He winds up. Great get, 2 bounces. Nice get by Guidry. Kane looking up here. Basically, a look on his face, he knows it's over.
1 step.
Oh.
Nice shot. Great rally by both players. Kane has another opportunity here to
close this one out.
10, serving 3.
10 serves 3. Game and match point here for Kane Wazelinchuk. Not over yet. Guidry. It's
Mike,
a great shot.
hanging in there. Good re-kill.
3, serving 10.
3-10. Great shot. I'm not sure how many chances this is for Kane, but again, another chance for him to finish this match. Move on to the semis against Rocky Carson.
Serving 3.
You know, and next week's semi with Rocky really should be Kane's first test in this tournament. And, you know, Rocky will be very, very fresh. He has not been tested in this tournament. He had a very easy match against Kyle. So it'll really be both of their first tests in the tournament, and they should both have all of their energy and be on top of their game. So
10, serving 3.
Well, he's got to get this last point here. This is 4 or 5 opportunities now that have been missed. More, I want to give some credit to Guidry for hanging on here. He's hit great shots to not let Kane just take this away. That was a brutal shot. Terrible, terrible shot.
Mike hanging in there. You can argue delaying the inevitable. Just the same, making maximum use of all of his airtime.
I think you're right. That's it. Guidry is Hollywood, and he wants to be on that big screen. I think that's.
I didn't really expect you to hit it
I
right
think
back
that's
to
it.
me.
I didn't really expect to hit it that high.
I think that's what confused me.
All right, I'm going to make the call here, Aaron. This
10, serving 3.
will be the point where Kane moves on to the semifinals.
Does he end it with an ace?
I don't think it's going to be an ace. I believe it'll be the standard serve, the setup, re-kill, 3-shot rally.
Okay, I've got my bet in.
Here it comes. Here's the serve. Here's the shot, and here's the kill. Match over. Wow.
I win. I win.
It's over. Kane Wazelinchuk, the world champion, advances to the semifinals, taking out Mike Guidry, the legend. Some great stuff. Good exhibition of racquetball by Kane Wazelinchuk. Unfortunately, not enough coming out of Mike Guidry today.
No, very dominant performance. Kane really stepped up. We'll have to look forward to the semis and hope it'll be a little bit more competitive match.
Kane stayed extremely intense throughout this entire match. Plan on him playing in even more intense next week on the semifinals. This was the 4th of 9 shows, so stay with us as we follow this 2004 Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championships on the Tennis Channel.